Good day, and thank you for joining our SELEAD.org system training. My name is Faye Colley, and I'm an Education Associate with the Office of Educator Effectiveness and Leadership Development. This video is on using bulk tools in SELEAD.org. This is a reminder of the user permissions for SELEAD.org. The highlighted ones are the users that can use the SELEAD.org bulk tools that I'm about to discuss. Here are the 3 bulk tools in SELEAD.org. You will find them under Adept Tools of your left vertical menu under your school or district. The screenshot on the right is from a school view, while the one on the left is a district view. The evaluation generator, or evaluations, is used to create evaluations in bulk. The evaluation teams is used to create evaluation teams in bulk, while orientations is used to create orientations in bulk. In bulk, meaning you can create them for multiple educators rather than individually. Here are reasons for creating evaluations. Educators are required to have appropriate evaluations under Adept. In order to utilize SELEAD.org to report evaluations, the evaluations must first be created. Please note that before creating evaluations, that you are familiar with the Adept contract levels and evaluations flowchart that our office published in 2018. Here are reasons for creating evaluation teams. First, it is because Adept evaluations have differentiated requirements. You will need to create evaluation teams to meet the Adept observation requirements. For example, for induction classroom-based teachers, they would need on their evaluation team either the principal or SCTS certified administrative designee who will conduct equal to or greater than 1 full observation per semester. They would also need a trained mentor on their evaluation team who will fulfill his or her duties according to the induction and mentoring guidelines. For classroom-based teachers on either annual summative or continuing summative evaluation, they would need the principal or trained administrative designee and a content expert. Each of these evaluators must conduct equal to or greater than 2 classroom observations per semester. The observation requirements are stated in the Expanded Adept Support and Evaluation System Guidelines for Classroom-Based Teachers, which was published in April 2018. There are also guidelines for special areas educators under the 2006 model or the new special areas evaluation model set for pilot this 2020-21 and full implementation on 2021-22. Here are reasons for creating orientations. Orientations are required for educators undergoing evaluation. To be able to document evaluations in SELEAD.org, the educator must first sign the orientation to activate the SELEAD.org evaluation forms. The educator cannot sign anything unless you first create it. Note that when conducting orientations, the orientation must match the evaluation that the educator will undergo. Discuss the contract level, evaluation tool, and requirements such as observation requirements and SLO requirement. You may also want to discuss evaluation timelines that have been set by your district. Now let's have a look at how to use the bulk tools in SELEAD.org. The SELEAD.org website is on the screen. For this tutorial, I'll be on a training site, so please don't be alarmed that my screen shows a different website on the browser. Okay, so here we are now on sele.org. Just as a reminder, I am on a testing site, so the address on my browser is different, but you need to go to sele.org. So for this demo, I will be using Collie District 12736 County School District. What you want to do is make sure after you log in, you go to Districts and Schools. Locate your district by typing it in the search box and hit submit, and then pick the district that you're with. So we are first looking at the bulk tool evaluation generator. Again, it's differently labeled. If you're at district level, it will say evaluation generator. If you're at the school level, it will say, let me pick a school first. Let me go to the high school. If your adept tools will say evaluations. So I'm going to go back to the district level, and I was working on evaluation generator. What I want to show you first is that if you're at the district level, you will see that all the schools under your district will appear, and you can work on one school at a time or work at all of them. So you can click, if you want to work on creating evaluations for the middle school, you just click, highlight that, hit next, and it will populate the educators at that school. If you can work on everything all at once, if you want to, you can do that as well. So I'm going to just go hit the back button. If I wanted to work on everybody, I'm at the district level, I can click on one and then highlight all of them and then hit next, and it'll populate all the educators that are within my district that have not had an evaluation created for them. So in this case, 16 educators in my district don't have evaluations created. I'm going to go back real quick to show you again on the school level. So if I'm at the school level and I was tasked to create evaluations for my school, I'm going to be at the high school, and I click evaluations, you will see that automatically only the high school where I'm assigned at will populate. And when I click next, only the educators at my school who don't have evaluations created yet will populate. So I only have access to my school if I'm at a school level, and I have access to all the schools in my district if I'm at the district level, adept coordinator or administrator. So let's stick to this example at the school level. You will automatically see a list of educators here that populate. These people correspond to the people under your staff list. So if you just wanted to check, so you don't accidentally create an evaluation for somebody that doesn't need to be evaluated, make sure you go on your staff list prior to creating evaluations. Check that all these people really do need to have an evaluation. They have not moved to another school, or they are not doing another function that's considered non-evaluated. So under evaluations, your school will populate. I would like to point out that we are now in academic year 2020-2021, but for my tutorial, it's not allowing me to drop it down. For yours, you should have it automatically populate the correct academic year 2020-2021. So again, your school is already pre-selected. You're a school level adept administrator in SE Click next. Okay. If you know that all these educators need to have an evaluation, you can just go ahead and select all, hit submit, and voila, evaluations have been created for your educators. That was really quick and easy. Now, if I go back to the district level, okay, I'm going to go district level, use the evaluation generator. Even if I highlight the high school, which we know we had 9 educators, those will not populate when I click next because the administrator at the school already created evaluations for those educators. So there's not going to be a problem of creating multiple evaluations for the same educator. All right. So earlier I showed you that there were 16 people that included the high school that needed evaluations created. Now you're only left with 7 throughout the district. Okay. You can select them all if you're sure that all these educators really are in your district and do need the evaluation. Select all, click submit, and voila. You've created evaluations for all the educators in your district. Now let's look at how to use the bulk tool evaluation teams. I'm now at the district dashboard. I'm going to click on evaluation teams. And you will notice that the academic year is populated. It should auto-populate on your SLE.org academic year 2020-2021. If not, there should be a drop-down option. Again, I'm at the training site, so I have a different address on my browser, and it's still in academic year 2019-2020. Make sure that you choose a school within your district that you wish to create evaluation teams for. And make sure that you just do not select a specific contract level. The reason being is that sometimes PCS may not transfer information ahead in SE-Lead, and some of your educators may not be labeled correctly in terms of contract level. So you could either highlight all these. Sorry, let me do that. You can highlight all these, you can select, or you don't even need to highlight anything. You can just leave it unhighlighted and then click search. So in this case, I'm going to show you that if I don't choose a school, I hit search, it will say that what I'm trying to do is invalid. So I'll have to go back and start that by choosing again a school. And then if you don't choose anything, all these will just populate. And all these educators will now show up. Again, I'm at the district level. Throughout the district, I have access, but this is limited to the school that I chose. So I'm going to go back and pretend that I will use the middle school in this case. I'll work at the middle school, even though I'm a district level adept administrator. Hit search. I know that I already have a list of my evaluation teams, and I know that some educators are going to have the same evaluators. So what I'll do is select those educators. So at the middle school, I know teachers 1, 2, and 3 are all induction teachers. So I'm going to go ahead and select those evaluations. It'll take you to this page where you can choose the evaluators assigned to all 3 educators. I know that I will be using for the evaluator for all 3, this district administrator. And I can select what specific role that person will have, either as just an evaluator or evaluator chair, and then what kinds of permission that person will have. So I'm going to choose this person as an evaluator, and I will allow this person to have observations and rate observations for these educators. Down here, you can select the mentors. Only those with mentor credentials will populate here. Similarly, only those with evaluator credentials will populate here. So if I say that I want to use the admin and the staff, let's say I will have this other person also as an evaluator and allow observations. We do know that you only need one evaluator on the evaluation team of an induction teacher and a mentor, but that is the floor that we set at the Department of Education. The districts can definitely go above and beyond, but this is an example just to show you that if you choose somebody as an evaluator, you cannot choose them as a mentor. So if I put staff as a mentor, put a check mark here, this one, the role and permissions I gave automatically got removed. This is because a mentor can never serve as an evaluator for the same educator. So if a person has multiple credentials, such as certified evaluator and certified mentor, you can only ask that person to work in one capacity or role as they work with a specific educator. So I realized that, oops, I can't really use the same person as an evaluator and as a mentor. And I do know that it only requires to have one evaluator who is either the principal or the assigned designee. In this case, the assigned designee is coming from the district level. I'm going to go ahead and have that chosen as an evaluator that is allowed to do observations. And then again, I will choose the mentor, who is another person apart from the evaluator that I chose. They will both be working on those teachers 1, 2, and 3, or on induction. And I'm just going to go ahead and confirm the evaluation team. So now it will prompt me, as the lead will prompt me to review. Okay, so you will notice that here it doesn't show CIDs. It's because these educators I had to create manually. But for your district, make sure that it populates a CID and that it's a correct match for the names of the teachers. So then once everything you see is correct, go ahead and hit submit. And now you have created evaluation teams for all those educators. Now let's move to the school level. So at the high school, I'll go to my dashboard and I'll go to the evaluation teams. Again, it should auto-populate the correct year. It auto-populates the high school because the system knows that I am assigned to that school. Likewise, you can select the level that you want to work on, but just in case the system did not communicate yet with PCS, which is the staffing system, and it doesn't know some educators' contract levels, just go ahead and click search, or if you want, you highlight everything. It will populate your educators. Again, at this high school, this time around, I know teacher 1 and teacher 4 and 6, they're going through inductions, so I will select them. I just want to assign teams for my induction teachers. That's according to my list. I will select the evaluations. Again, I know who are assigned to them. This time you will notice that for mentors, there's an additional one that's added at that specific school. So again, whoever that has credentials at this school will populate, and who can evaluate will populate on the screen. So in this case, earlier I had already used this district admin as an evaluator, but this time I want this person to be a mentor. So I will click on here that this district admin is a mentor. And then the district staff would be the person that I want to use as an evaluator and do observations. Again, if you accidentally choose an evaluator to serve as a mentor, it will take away the role and permissions that you had just given. So make sure that on your list, the evaluator is serving as an evaluator, but if that same person is certified as a mentor, that person will not serve as a mentor for that same educator. So evaluator, allow observations. In some cases, you might choose somebody to be the evaluation chair. If you're a district that's under consensus, the evaluation chair would have to enter the consensus meetings. I may also choose to have different, again, levels of permission. So in this case, I might say that this district staff actually functions works closely at that school and might be one of the assistant principals. I might allow that person to also have rights to professionalism. So I'm just going to confirm the evaluation team, and then I will make sure that everything is correct. Again, for you, you should have something here for CID to match the educators. I'll hit submit, and voila, my bulk evaluation teams for my school have been created. Under Adept Tools at the district level, go to Orientations. It will populate for you the academic year. It's supposed to be automatically showing 2020, 2021, but again, I am at the training site and that's not populating yet for me. But for you, it should populate correctly. And if not, there should be an option with the drop down for the correct academic year. At the district level, you can schedule orientations for each individual school, or you can schedule them all at once. You can also schedule them by contract levels. For the sake of this tutorial, I will just not pick a specific contract level or specific school. I'll just go ahead and click search. So at the district level, these educators, these are their evaluation records that have been created earlier. And so SLE.org knows that since you created evaluation records, that they would also need to have orientation records. So that's how this list is populated. So on the district level, again, it will show everybody in the district that you've created evaluation records for. So you can select all, and if you know that you set an orientation date for everybody for a certain date, let's say it was July 31st, then all you have to do is put that in and click submit. So I'm not going to do that in this tutorial yet because I want to show you first the school level. So I am just going to cancel this, and I'm going to go to a school at the high school. Again, on the left vertical menu, I'll go to orientations. At the school level, it will only generate the school that you're assigned at. It should populate the correct year, but if not, make sure to choose the correct academic year. Again, you can select which contract level you want to create orientations for, but I suggest just leaving that as is and click search, and everyone should populate from your evaluated staff list that you've created evaluation records for. So here, I can also select all and enter the date that they're going to have orientations. Now, if for some reason I only want to create orientations for special areas educators, what I could do is to uncheck all the other educators. Maybe I set aside at the school level 2 different dates, so I can just make sure the ones that have a check mark would be that one group that I am going to have an orientation date for. In this case, I set a different date for special areas, and I can go ahead and hit submit. And this one doesn't really belong to my school, so I'll uncheck that. Make sure to review before hitting submit. Now I'm going to hit submit, and then I get this information that it has been successfully created. This informational message. So now I can actually go back at the school level for orientations. Just click search. And then the other educators that I did not do an orientation for will show on this column that it is none. So what I would like now is to set an orientation date for my classroom-based teachers. So I will choose these educators' evaluation records, and then I will review and that these are the correct people that I will orient on a different date. Let's say I'm going to have them do their orientation on July 30th. I'm just going to confirm that and hit submit. And again, I'll get that informational message. So now going back to the district, if I use the orientations bulk tool, let me make sure I am in the correct district. Okay, I go to orientations, and I was at the wrong, I clicked elementary school, sorry. This is already the district dashboard. Click orientations. All the schools under my district will show up. Make sure to check the correct academic school year. Okay. Again, it will show everybody in the district that needs an orientation. The only ones that need to have the orientation set are the ones who don't have the dates showing on this orientation column on the rightmost column. So I'm just gonna pick at the middle school, I am going to have orientations for my school counselor, school librarian, and speech language professionals. And I determined that the same as the high school, they'll have their orientation on the 31st. Can hit submit, get my confirmation that it's been successfully created. Similarly, I can go back again, click orientations, search, and then for my remaining classroom-based teachers, I'm gonna select them and then go ahead and enter the date. I also set the same as the high school where their classroom-based teachers are gonna have orientation on 30th. I click that and hit submit. And then again, there's that confirmation message that it was successfully done. So if, for example, you have accidentally entered the wrong date, you really meant to enter that the counselors, the special areas educators are going to have their orientation in August rather than on July 31st, you could actually select them again on this list. And you can go ahead and schedule a different orientation date for them. So let's say it wasn't supposed to be on July 31st. It was supposed to be Monday, August 3rd. You can hit submit, and then it'll give you the confirmation that the bulk orientations have been successfully created. So you go back to orientations, click search. Remember that now the orientation column for those that you have changed will show that new date. It will not have two sets of orientations for them, but this is a good way to set up orientations. If you have not done it yet, or if you've done the orientations, you've created the orientations inside SLE, but you realize that you put in the wrong date, this will be the way to easily enter the correct dates for the orientations. So that's it for creating orientations using the bulk tool.